This seventh non-stop meeting. And this is, for me, it is 1683rd COVID interaction with the experts. Thank you, Angelique. Others are likely to join. Dr. Akhtar Hussain, Dr. Sanchita. I welcome everybody. Congratulations to Dr. Suresh Mittal for getting his second vaccination just now, and he made it live for our program. So till others join, we'd like to listen from Angelique. What's new? Angelique, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's new now?
Not a lot is new in happened this past week in South Africa regarding the virus. Our numbers is coming down. So, but around the vaccine, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening there. We will start with the Johnson & Johnson vaccination rollout within the next week and a half. Starting with the public sector doctors, it seems to us as first priority. Still, that will be a phase 3B rollout. So it's part of the still part of it under a trial, as they have not been yet fully gone through the process of SAPRA. Then we still don't know what's going to happen with the AstraZeneca vaccines that we do have. We presume that they will also go under a open rollout trial, but we have to move with that, because when they delivered the vaccines to us, unfortunately, the expiry date is in April, middle of April. When we ordered, we thought that we would have a 6 months expiry date. So there's now two things happening in the background. I know that the National Department of Health asked whether that date of the 14th of, or let me rather put it like this, the date of April is a fixed date. Can we still use the vaccines after that? And if so, when would be the expiry date? So up till today, we haven't got a clear answer on that. And our other
this is regarding the Oxford AstraZeneca. So they have given a expiry date of April. For how many months?
So no, they gave us, they delivered it. We got it this month. So we thought that it would be a 6 month. Before the vaccine expires. But when they delivered it, we noticed on the day of delivery that it was the expiry date was April. So we are still waiting to hear whether we can use it after the date of expiry. We're not sure. But we are running against time. We're sitting with 1 million dosages. So if we can't expand the expiry date, we will have to donate it to higher up, to some countries higher up in Africa, because some of our neighboring countries also now have the V2 variant. So it's difficult. You cannot just give it. So the best option would be to have an open plan trial roll out. But again, we are moving against time to get all that being accepted through our regulatory body. So we'll see. That is where we are. So we're still in a bit of a dark regarding what to do with the AstraZeneca. And
your opinion is, that South African opinion is that AstraZeneca virus will not work on South Africa, virus present in South Africa.
Yes, on the second variant, yes.
So which one, 417, 484 or 501, where it is not acting? Is it not acting because of 484?
You see, that's the problem. They just said to us on the V2 one, they're not sure there's no studies done regarding the efficacy on severe disease. And the studies that was done on the AstraZeneca was with the first wave. That's the problem. It was during the first wave where this variant was not yet in the country. So when they looked at the data, that was with the first wave, and it is about 22% effect. They reckon it would be 22% effective. So it's a problem. 1 out of 4 patients on mild to moderate disease will be protected, but no data on AstraZeneca on severe disease, and especially not done on the variant that we currently have.
Do you think that this variant will become predominant in the world? The virus in the V2 virus, variant 2?
Well, I think it would. There's quite a big possibility that it would spread, because it's already spreading in the rest of our neighboring countries. So if our neighboring countries are allowed to travel to some other countries in the world, eventually it will spread. It will spread up in Africa as well. I saw that there's a new variant in Uganda, or a new mutation in Uganda. That is, I just saw it yesterday. And I'm not sure what mutation that is, but apparently it's quite virulent as well. So I'm not sure. And yes, the question that you raised about the 484, I also would like to know, even with Johnson & Johnson, whether that would be effective against that. We don't get that information. I don't think that data is really that clinical data is out there. I don't think a lot of these data has been
with the manufacturing of RBD now, because now neutralizing tests are available in the world, where they have synthetically made RBD, and they are doing ELISA with an artificial RBD and seeing whether the antibodies are neutralizing or not. So now it is possible to find out. It will not be difficult. It should not be difficult for a genome lab to pick up a RBD, put up the serum, and see whether it is neutralizing a particular type of mutation or not. So
well, we know on the AstraZeneca that the neutralizing of the antibodies in the lab was not very good. But I don't have the clinical data.
So the question which comes is that whenever you make a vaccine, by the time it is ready for giving, another mutation will come. Another mutation will come. So today's topic actually is, why should a virus mutate? That is what I am going to discuss, but I'm waiting for a couple of more people to join, because my topic will be, why should a virus mutate, in continuation with what I talked last time. So Dr. Russell, you want to give an update? In the meantime, I'm waiting for one or more people to join about the discussion we had on the mutation on that day.
Sorry. Yeah, it was, I think we had a very good, for all of you who attended. Angelique, you were there, and your colleague Barry was very good. Unfortunately, both of you had to leave for an urgent meeting, but I think it was we got very good feedback. One was Dr. Keke's extensive presentation on not just the mutation, but also the pathology, physiopathology, and so forth of what was happening. And then we were very interested, because Angelique, the next day, I think they announced that South Africa has withheld or suspended the AstraZeneca program. It came out in Australia, I think on Monday morning. I'm not sure where it is up now, but we did hear also about from the president of the Brazil and the Latin American, that the Brazilian variant actually was imported from Italy. That's what we learned. And we also had what's his name, Martin, the WHO expert advisor. I think they put some more questions to Dr. KK with regards to his presentation. So it was an excellent presentation and brought a lot of relevant facts. Very important that we had UK, Brazil, and South Africa, three of the regions that are having these mutations. And right now in Melbourne, from yesterday, we've gone into a circuit breaker short 5-day lockdown because of the escape of the UK, where I don't know if you're aware that the UK one has reached Australia in the international. It's in the quarantine, and it seems to have jumped the hotel quarantine, and as a abundant precaution, and because of its what do you call it, the infectability and so forth. Yesterday, from last night 12 o'clock to Wednesday, they have we have 11 or 12 from that one. I think 3 people came from and one of them brought it in quarantine, but it seemed to have jumped and infected the officers and so forth. And so as abundant precaution, we have now for 5 days quarantine lockdown in Melbourne at the moment, and all the others. So that's I think very relevant to what happened in the presentation that we did. And then we had Dr. Weiner from Wisconsin, from USA, who spoke on very important issue on the ethical issues around scarce resources or scarce vaccine. How do we deal with that? And ultimately, it was quite. I think everyone accepted that everywhere vaccine should be shared, and if the vulnerable people didn't get the vaccine, the other countries will be still at risk. So, very good, Dr. KK. Thank you for that. This is probably the 3rd or 4th of your joining into these international.
Thank you for exposing me to the international scenario.
Yeah, I've spoken, and one of the good things, as we have with CMAAO, what's his name, Dr. Your counterpart, who's the what's his name, Lincoln Ferreira. He's the so they have also joined.
So I'll connect him to me.
Yes, I've told him. Yes, and they've joined the UNESCO. And I was going, like you, we were talking of course, CMAAO has been with us from the time we started, but they want to formally take part with our program. As you know, the WMA is part of it and IMA. So he also, like you being the president of IMA, that chap was the president of Brazil and now become the federation president, our confederation. So I'll put you to him, and they're quite.
Let me now start the meeting.
Yeah.
The topic I'm covering is, I want to build up a case for the following recommendations. And I'm putting the recommendations first, that whenever you have a new spurt of cases, genomic studies should be done. So whenever you say that a new case have appeared in a place where cases are not there, or there are n number of new cases, we should immediately go for genomics. We should look for gene target failure. Now, what is happening is in India, because government is reducing the cost of the test, people have stopped doing 3 gene detection tests. Normally, you require S gene, oblique, you require a N gene, oblique, you require E gene, and you require RDRP test in RT-PCR. As you are going to reduce the cost, people are not going to do multiple gene tests. And if you are not doing a multiple gene test, you will never come to know a new variant. Therefore, 3 gene tests, minimum 3 gene tests should be available in every country for specific situations. For example, the virus V1 of 501V1, which is prevalent in UK, would not have been detected if these three gene tests were not done. When they started getting S gene target failure, they said something is wrong with the gene. Then we should talk about neutralizing antibodies and not binding antibodies. So neutralizing antibodies should be available in special situations. If you say my antibodies are not forming after infection or vaccination, maybe there is a different variant because of which your antibodies are not showing. Or after vaccination, your antibodies are not showing. If you have any immunocompromised case with COVID, you must do the genomic analysis to find out, I hope he's not developing mutations. All cases with persistent RT-PCR positive cases, one should look for a genomic study. All patients where plasma therapy failed or monoclonal failures, one should look for a genomic study. If you get a cluster of unusual symptoms cluster, suddenly you find a new symptom has appeared, look for a genomic study. If you see lots of cases of multi-system inflammatory disease, look for genomic study. All cases of post-vaccination deaths, wherever in the world, look for a genomic study. Why they did not develop the antibodies? Why did they doubt? All cases of vaccine failures, look for genomics. Now, I want to spend some time today in understanding why should a virus mutate? Why should a virus mutate? Therefore, a virus can mutate at any point here. The virus has 30,000 base pairs of nucleotides. 30,000 base pairs of nucleotide. 4,000 mutations have occurred. Every amino acid has mutated minimum 4 times. Minimum 4 times. So where does a mutation can occur? At any point mutation can occur. At any place mutation can occur. Now we want to understand common places of mutations. Some of the slides I did not cover in UNESCO lecture because I learned it after that, and that's what I am covering. So the common sites for mutation in a non-spike gene are these. These are called as ORF1A, ORF1B. The mutation gene region is this. You can see in the red. This is the area where mutations come. More susceptible areas for mutations. Or it comes in ORF3. ORF3 is after S. This is the area where maximum mutations comes. Apart from S protein. So apart from S protein, maximum mutations comes in different areas. And in SARS-CoV protein, the mutations can come in either the bifurcation point or they will come in RBD or they will come in RBM, or this blue is called NTD, N-terminal domain. So between 13 and 318. Now, two types of mutations occur, substitution or deletion. Substitution is getting difficult for the virus because of a proofreading mechanism, because of NSP14. And therefore, now more and more deletions are coming. And deletions will only occur in this blue area called NTD. So genomic study now is becoming easier and easier and easier. Whenever there is a deletion, you look from amino acid 13 to 318 and look for any amino acid has been deleted or not. This I will come back. You can see here ORF1A and ORF1B has 16 non-structural proteins. Out of this, NSP14 is the most important. So if there is a mutation in NSP14, the virus will mutate, mutate, and mutate. So therefore, if you see here, these are the common sites of mutation. And if this mutation involves NSP14, the virus will go on mutating. So if you can show a mutation in NSP14, unless you do a genomic, how will you come to know? And such cases are isolated separately altogether. Then only you will be able to stop the mutation. So whenever you say I'm getting a difficult case, ask the genomic study, is there a mutation in NSP14? The second question you are going to ask is there a mutation in NTD, the N-terminal domain? The third question is there a mutation in RBM? Next question is RBD, and the next question is bifurcation. That's all. These 5 out of these 30,000 amino acids, you only have to ask yourself these 5 or 6 different locations for mutations. Now let me come back to let me come back to yes. So when it comes to these are the experiments done. These are the experiments done. What did they do in the lab is they changed the RBD, they picked up RBD mutations, 475, 452, 483, and 490. All of them are in RBM. When they did a lab study, they found if there is a mutation on RBM 475, 452, 483, and 490, they became resistant to some of the neutralizing antibodies. Means they were not forming the neutralizing antibodies. So any mutation in RBM, which is only 70 amino acids, which is what happened in the strain in South Africa, 484. 484 in South Africa is in RBM. So therefore, any mutation in RBM will make it more resistant to some neutralizing antibodies. So the only thing you have to say is there a mutation in RBM or not? And then they said, there is a glycosylated proteins, like we do a glycosylated hemoglobin, and that is 331 and 333 glycosylation. And if they are removed, the virus became less infectious. The majority of glycosylation deletions made the virus less infectious. So therefore, it is possible to change the genomics of a virus in the lab and make it a lab produced like a recombinant virus and release in the circulation. Then interestingly, 234 in the neutralizing domain 234 mutation became bad, but 165 mutation was in favor of the virus. So therefore, it is possible to change in the lab every amino acid one by one and check which amino acid neutralizes and which amino acid change does not neutralize. That's what the studies now are going on. I'm only trying to say is a virus will always like to. Now, the newer virus would like to delete. Newer virus would like to have a delete mutation. Therefore, 6970 has become the main mutation, that is V1. 6970 and 144, 145 mutation. So deletion in N-terminal domain along with 1501 in RBD has become the main strain in UK and the whole world. South African virus in the South Africa is still going slow, not reaching the whole world because it still does not have a deletion of N-terminal domain. I have been told in UK that 484, which is RBM, has come in one patient in the V1 strain. If that happens, that will become the major virus of the time. So therefore, my thing is that deletions are more important than the substitution. If that's so, 3-gene testing becomes a necessity because deletions can easily be detected by doing a 3S gene technology. And here I want to show you one more thing. And that is this NTD, which is a part before RBD. See only the first graph. There is a section before the receptor binding domain called NTD. This is called N-terminal domain, and it has 4 parts. That is RDR1, RDR2, RDR3, and RDR4. These are called as recurrent deletion regions. These are called as recurrent deletion regions. So max 90% of the virus will mutate with the deletion in these points in NTD. Now you see here, maximum are seen in RDR1 and 6970 deletion comes in R1. R2 145, 144, 145 deletion of UK comes in RDR2. The 201 deletion comes in RDR3 and 243, 244 deletion comes in RDR4. Therefore, UK has 2 mutations of deletion in N-terminal domain at RDR1 and RDR2. So therefore, my analysis is that if UK deletion, if the 484, which is now seen in India as a standalone mutation, which is also seen in patients with convalescent plasma, if this 484 gets permanently adapted as an independent merged mutation into the UK mutation, it will be a disaster. It will be a disaster. So the disaster, in terms of disaster, means you only require one more mutation in UK addition, and that's 484. You already have R1 mutation 6970. You already have R2 mutation, which is 144, 145, which makes S gene target failure. you already have a RDRP mutation, you already have a RBD mutation of 501. And if they adopt 484, I'm not talking about 417 because that's again RBD mutation. So if they adopt only one more mutation, that is RBM mutation, this virus will go haywire. Now the question comes is, does the virus wants to mutate? Unless the current mutation is unstable, virus will keep on mutating. The answer is yes. What the virus would like as a part of mutation, he would like to capture one or two RBM, and he would like to capture the bifurcation 679. And I want to show you one more thing why in this virus deletions are important, and that you can see from this slide. No, I want to show the MERS, the one with the MERS. And if you see between MERS and SARS virus, there are 98 deletions. The difference between spike protein of MERS and the spike protein of COVID-19 is that COVID-19 has 98 less amino acids. So there is a deletion of 98 amino acids. Remember in MERS, there are 1,353 amino acids. And in SARS, there are 1,255 amino acids. So therefore, in a virus like MERS and SARS, up till now, we have been giving emphasis on the substitution mutations. I think the world over, people have been missing that it is the deletions which are much more important, which is evident that MERS became COVID-19 by deletion and not by substitution. So more the virus will delete, the more the virus will persist. More the virus will persist towards its existence. So the virus is deleting all the things which makes the disease much more serious. Therefore, I feel whatever vaccine you take, it will reduce the seriousness because all deletions are for failure of detection and failure of neutralization, but not towards disease severity. So all the deletions are towards making the virus more chronic than an acute illness. This virus, like an HIV, would like to become a chronic virus, escaping antibody. So whatever thing is happening is deletion. So I'm going to rest my arguments today with a hypothesis that deletions in the viruses are more important. And that is the reason UK virus has going to become and replace the current 614G virus, not the South African variant. Because South African variants, unless it picks up a couple of more deletions, which are advantage virus, it may not spread to the whole world. May not. I didn't say it shall not, may not. So as on today, we have to play a game of tennis. So there is a game of tennis going on between the virus and the human intelligence. So as on today, we can still say advantage human intelligence. The day this virus deletes and acquire more prominence and becomes like a HIV chronic virus, then only we will say advantage virus. Would like to hear comments from people. So today is the Chinese day, so therefore both our chair and treasurer will not join us. Others have joined us. So like to hear from people that my case, which is different from what I spoke in UNESCO, is I didn't cover the topic between deletions and substitutions. So after my analysis, deletions are more important than substitutions. Therefore, 3 gene testing should be done in individuals where you are expecting a mutation, or a genomic study should be done. Angelique.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say because in a way, I totally agree with you that I think this is going to become a chronic virus. I think we will, it's like, you know, it's not the flu virus, but as we use vaccines every year against the flu virus, where we tweak the vaccines, I think the same is going to happen with this. And yes, I am also very afraid that the UK variant might marry a very unwelcome gaze, and that would become a huge problem. That, I think, would be not so much chronic as well, but also give you acutely more serious infections going forward. So I'm not sure. Yes, all of these vaccines will help with mild diseases. The question is the serious diseases, to get them out of hospital. The other thing is we're not sure about is whether these vaccines will protect you from spreading the virus and not, you know, and not become a carrier. I'm not sure. Any opinions on that?
There's only one study. First of all, I want to say is a new terminology I've created is vaccine causes harm reduction. That's all. That it is not going to prevent, it is not going to do anything. It only does is a harm reduction if you get an infection. There is only one study available from AstraZeneca, and which says that after the vaccine, if you get a viral infection, the viral load is so low that you don't transmit an infection. And they did it by the CT value of RT-PCR. So all cases of vaccine failure, they found their CT value of RT-PCR were very high. Probably they were non-infectious. That's only one study available. Mari, what is the situation in Japan?
Yes. Here. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh. Did something? I'm just listening.
What's the situation in Japan now?
Yeah, right now we are planning to do the vaccination the end of February, and now we are preparing for it. And the condition about the COVID-19, speaking about COVID-19, positive patient has been decreasing right now. So we are kind of under control for the third wave.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As I'm not feeling well today because of flu something, but I'm always the good listener of Mr. President, who are very kind to present very informative information. So in Pakistan, we have again the same situation is decreasing day by day, the number of cases, and the number of deaths is also decreasing. And the percentage, you can say the 3.4% today, what the government has said, that the 3.4% in Pakistan, the average number of cases. So it's a good thing. And the vaccine, the Sinopharm vaccine is being vaccinated to the healthcare workers, but most of the healthcare workers are very much reluctant because of the something you know better. the people are on social media and everywhere very much confused that either it is to be done or not. So we are just very vocal to the public and our colleagues to just get vaccinated as early as possible so that you can be safe. If you are if you get the virus, so then it will not be so severe for you. So it's better to get vaccine as compared to a virus. Thank you.
So Sinopharm is an inactivated killed vaccine, cannot cause, it may cause less immunity, it will cause harm reduction, but will never kill anybody.
Yes.
Dr. Suresh Mittal, you want to say something? So let me summarize the whole thing. Let me summarize the whole thing. That a virus would like to mutate. Some immunity is better than no immunity. Even one vaccination is better than two vaccinations. If you can demonstrate presence of neutralizing antibodies in your blood. So I normally say there are three types of antibodies: corrupt antibodies, useless antibodies, useful antibodies. Corrupt antibodies are disease-enhancing antibodies, which are seen in dengue, but not seen with COVID-19. The second is called as useless antibodies, which are not against the RBD or RBM. They are directed towards other parts of the virus. They are of no use in neutralizing the virus. And the third is called neutralizing antibodies. So the first one is corrupt antibodies are called disease-enhancing antibodies. Second one are called as binding antibodies, which are non-RBD, non-RBM, other parts of the spike protein. And the third are neutralizing antibodies. It is possible now to detect presence of neutralizing antibodies. For example, if I travel Australia, and if I carry a certificate that my neutralizing antibodies are positive, and if I develop fever there, I know I'm not suffering from COVID, because once you have a neutralizing antibodies, it is unlikely that you will get a cross-infection or a reinfection. But if you have a non-neutralizing antibodies, you can get still a reinfection because ACE2 receptor is still not blocked. So as on today, we can say the best passport available, it is not the ultimate passport available, is presence of neutralizing antibodies, which up till today have been shown to be present for more than 6 months. If you don't have a neutralizing antibodies present, in these cases, the government should look for, are we mutating or not? This virus ultimately would like to become like a HIV virus. It would like to become a carrier. It would like to persist in the body. It will like not to be killed. And it will also like not to kill the individual. Or I say Hep C virus, that it will kill you after 20 years, not acutely. That the virus wants. For that, this virus wants not to get detected. Therefore, it will delete, it will go on deleting its amino acids, which are of no use. It will go on substituting viruses, which are of importance to the virus advantage virus. Remember 501. Instead of N501Y, if it becomes N501D, it is advantage human being. And if it is NO1Y, it is advantage virus. Even a single mutation of an amino acid Only thing which I want to understand, if there is an international expert who can make me understand, and that is why can't we make a genetically modified vaccine? Genetically modified virus, not vaccine, which has all the advantages of self-destruction of the virus. If I mutate my virus in such a way that it self-destroys the virus in the community, I don't know, like we have a genetically modified mosquitoes. Why can't we have a virus in circulation which goes in the body and destroyed itself within a couple of hours and plus gives you the immunity? That only the time will tell us. But I'm going to end by saying that there are two types of mutations, substitution. Up till now, we used to say there are two types of mutation, and that is significant and non-significant. But now we are talking about amongst the significant two types of mutation, deletion and substitutions. Both are important. More and more number of virus delete amino acids will escape diagnostics and make the virus more chronic. So I will now request Dr. Russell to sum up and close the meeting.
Well, thank you, Dr. K.K. Agrawal. We've had another session today with learning another understanding the importance of substitution and depletion, isn't it? And I think we're beginning to understand where this or what's happening with these mutations, and ultimately, of course, you think that the virus intelligence is working towards finding a way to live peacefully or to live along and beating the human intelligence. And in that process, it appears that there's more depletion than substitution taking place in these mutations. Anyhow, and also there was a thought of why, just like is it possible to have a genetically modified virus that might self-destruct as they've had the genetically modified mosquito. Anyhow, I think this was again the continuation of a series of discussions we've had, which has certainly brought our knowledge and our understanding of this very important but also complex area, complex to most of us. We are not virologists, we are not genetic specialists, but over the last many Saturdays, we've certainly, I think I've improved or have got a good understanding of at least the rudimentary aspects of the virology, immunology, and the genome and genetics and so forth. So thank you very much for that. And on behalf of all the members here who are attending this program or this Saturday meeting of the CMAAO, thank you very much, and thank all of you for joining in. As one of the things I might add here that Dr. KK and myself have spoken, while the UNESCO Chair in Bioethics has been involved, we have a more formal approach here, and I asked KK whether we do have now with the same confederation with Latin America. They've similarly with WMA and IMA has been the earliest. In KK's time, they have joined and been a part of the UNESCO chair. So I asked KK and with all the colleagues here that one of the things we'd like to do is to have a CMAAO chair of the UNESCO chair in bioethics, which will represent all of you. And so we will put that forward to KK and see.
Absolutely. Do it. We'll do it immediately.
Yeah,
We will start the UNESCO chair
and
in
have a formal,
formal
yeah,
chair.
so we have a program.
But the only thing is that there is a fight going on between Dr. Russell and Dr. K.K. Agarwal. Russell says learn ethics first. K.K. Agarwal says learn immunology first. So sometimes it is, so I'm teaching immunology, genetics,
Everything.
everybody, and Russell is teaching the ethics to everybody, but both
But-
are in.
Exactly. But we're bringing all this ultimately into values and ethics, and particularly from the medical aspect. And I think that's an important, and nowhere more important ethics has become in this pandemic, right? Every aspect of the pandemic has brought in ethical issues. Even when KK spoke on Sunday, we had a whole issue on how do we ethical issues around distribution of scarce vaccine. Everything is to do with, has been, I think this time we've learned that ethics has been more relevant than ever before, right from PPE and from, every aspect. And what we've seen is justice. Although in the past we've always concentrated on autonomy and beneficence and so forth, and this has brought out very important aspect of distributive justice. We are faced with
So
that.
once we have a chair, we will make sure that we will spread the basics of ethics through CMAAO everywhere, and we will continue our endeavor in basics of immunology and basics of genetics, which even I am relearning over a period of time, and we are sure both are important for the program. That's all for today. We'll be back next Saturday at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you very much.